Hey YouTube, welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to be going through another training vlog, and I'm joined by Oisin, who is a client and also a personal trainer and online coach himself, Fatty's Fitbits. So we're actually going to be going through one of Oisin's workouts today. What are we doing?
So we're just doing a more of a pump style session. I think Matt will explain further throughout the video what's going on, but it's just changing my program from the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, so I think it's a full body pull we're going to do today. I'm not used to this style of training, so you're probably going to see me huffing and puffing, and yeah, we'll try to keep the camera more on Oisin because he just finished a photo shoot and I'm not in photo shoot shape at the moment. But yeah, let's get warmed up and then we'll get into it. So to start off the workout, we're going to be targeting the lats. So we're going to use two exercises. We're going to pair a straight arm pull down with the seated row here. So with the straight arm pull down, we're really focusing on trying to challenge the lats in this shortened position here. And then the seated row, we're working more of the mid to lengthened position. So we're going to do 4 sets. Is it 15, 12, 10, 8? And we're just going to be pairing exercises. We're going to have 45 seconds rest between each exercise. So it's high reps, short rest, and that's going to likely cause me to drop off, but cause a lot of fatigue. So, Oisin, you go first. So with the straight arm lat pull down, you'll see here we're using 2 ropes. The reason for this is basically to give us more of a range of motion and be able to line up with the lats here better. So if we were to use 1 rope, what will happen is your hands are going to be in here, and then when he's pulling, you're going to get stuck here. Whereas with the 2, you have a bit more width, and really you can get much better range of motion here. A few key things when you're doing it is, Oisin wants to push the hips back. Before you start, you want to get a stretch in the lats here, but you want to also make sure there's tension here. So as if you were pulling rope. What a lot of people do is they don't get tension in their lats, then the traps will take over here, so they'll essentially shrug. And what happens is when you lose that, it's very hard to get it back. So tension in the lats. The lats are the first thing that moves, so the lats will pull the shoulder down, and then the elbow will come through towards the hip. So I guess you do a couple of reps. And then on the way up, you want to think of stretching this lat out here as much as you can, but also keeping tension in it. So not letting your shoulders drift up too high and then down. So this is a really good exercise for the lats, but it's also very hard to do. A lot of people, you'll often hear it. Do you hear this as well with clients, like this exercise?
Yeah, or even when you're trying to explain it to someone, like it's so hard to like tell someone that.
Yeah.
Like, and they're just like, they just don't feel it at all.
Yeah, it's not until it's not until you actually feel this that you can kind of get it. But it is really a really effective exercise, but it takes a lot of a mind-muscle connection, which is kind of the same with nearly the lats, especially on your back. Like you found that even just work with me, being able to connect with your lats.
Target can be very extremely hard muscle group.
And your like Oisin's lats will probably grow in a deficit just by literally learning how to kind of connect with them better. So that's the straight arm pull down. We'll go over and show the seated row now. With the seated row, and again trying to focus on the lats, is there's different ways to do it. So you can actually focus more on the upper back or the lats depending on what way you do this exercise. So to focus on the lats, what we want to do here you have Oisin is kind of leaning forward. So if you see here, his shoulder is actually in front of his hip, and that's gonna help us to bias the lats more. And then what he's gonna do is he's gonna be pulling his elbow down towards the ground, so not out. So he wants to pull down. That's gonna keep tension in the lat here. The elbow's staying in, and he has a right angle here, 90 degrees. So what a lot of people will do, you can stretch, you can relax, and take your hand off for a second. So what a lot of people do is when they set up this machine, if they set it up wrong, so he's leaning forward, if it's too high, they'll be like this, pulling. And you can see there, that's your bicep. You want to be at a right angle here, which is going to target more of the lat. You can even see his bicep is not less tensed here, whereas when it's up here, it's much more your bicep. So that's just a tip for connecting with the lats, especially on the sit row. So again, as he's lengthening, he wants to lengthen here at the lat, but not loosen. So he doesn't want to lose tension in his lat. So the next pair of exercises that we're going to do is a lat pull down and a kneeling face pull. So the last set of exercises we're targeting the lats. We're going to move to the upper back now. So with the lat pull down, we're going to do it more for the upper back. I'm going to explain in a minute how to do it. And then we're doing a kneeling face pull. So essentially it's the same kind of theory as the first set of exercises. Your kneeling face pull is going to get more in the contracted position here, whereas the lat pull down is going to get us more in this stretch position. So we're going to do 6 sets of 6 with 40 seconds rest.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll just be alternating between each other. Right, I will go first. Okay, so with a lat pull down, something that a lot of people don't realize is a lat pull down is not really for your lats. It's actually more for your upper back, especially the way people actually perform the lat pull down. So while we have Oisin here and while he's so lean, I'm gonna show you what I mean. So take off the top, you'll be able to see this clearly. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna do a lat pull down for the upper back. So Oisin's gonna come right in underneath it. Chest is going to be up, he's going to pull his elbows out. This is the way most people do an upper back, a lat pull down. Yeah, so do a few reps. And up, full stretch up. So you see shoulder blades will lift up, pulling his scapula down. You see all his upper back regions is really working there. So now we're going to focus more on the lats. So what we're going to do here is, instead of being this big arch posture, we're going to keep the abs tight. We're going to use a different grip. We're going to keep the elbows tucked in front of the body. And you're going to see the difference in his muscles, what actually activates here. So slide in, yeah. And pull down. Good. So you see the difference here. His upper back is not working half as much. You see more of the lats here. Just sit up slightly first, a bit more. Good, that's better. So really focus on driving the elbows down towards the hip instead of out wide. So you can very, very clearly see, especially when you have someone lean like Oisin, the difference between an upper back pull down and a lat focus pull down. Yep. So next exercise we're doing is the single leg lion leg curl. So we're going to do 6 sets of 6 here, and essentially it's going to be like 20-30 second rest, so it's literally just basically continuous from left to right. So we're targeting the hamstrings. We prioritize hamstrings in the first pull session of the week. So your first full body pull session, we started with hamstring, lower body, then moved to the lats and the back. And the second session, we've done it the other way around. So back is getting prioritized first, then we're moving on to hamstrings. So with the lion leg curl, what you want to do, I'll get Oisin to get into it. You really just want to make sure you're keeping the hips stable here, that you're not letting the hips fly up. So every time you pull in, keeping the hips stable, using your hands to really pull yourself into the machine, control down and pull up through the heel. So a couple of things when you're setting it up, your alignment, so making sure that your heel, knee and hip is in a straight line, and then really controlling the negative here. So you can even see Oisin's hamstring. His hamstring is taking all the load on the way down. He's not fully stretching at the bottom. Keeping a slight bend in the knee just to take the calf out of it. So last exercise, we're finishing off with biceps here. We're going to do an EZ bar spider curl. So we're going to do 4 sets of 12 to 15, again with 30 to 45 seconds rest. So here you just want to have a chest, something to support your chest on, and then you're just going to curl out really. Just make sure that you want to keep the elbows in front of the shoulders, so you're not pulling back, pulling out in front of you, and squeeze at the top, nice and controlled on the way down. And when you're doing this, just make sure your elbow's out in front. So it's going to be most challenging at the top here. So that was today's workout. As you've seen, it was lots of sets, lots of reps with very little rest. So a few different things and reasons why we were using this style of training for Oisin right now is he's close to a photo shoot, and essentially if you see the exercises we used, a lot of them, they're not that taxing. So we used a lot of machine work and exercises that kind of stay away from too much muscle damage stuff, like you'd see like an RDL and stuff like that. That causes a lot of muscle damage. So we actually don't want that, because he's been dieting for 12 weeks or so before we started this, and obviously lifting heavy, still progressing in the gym. But like I mentioned, Oisin, that type of training, it does accumulate stress over time, no matter, even if you're still progressing. So we switched to this style to kind of give his nervous system a break, and also this type of training is, you don't want to be going near failure. So what we were doing before this was pushing very hard, pushing to close to failure on nearly every exercise, whereas here we're only getting near failure probably on the last set, if sometimes not even, which again isn't as taxing. And then the last thing is, this style of training runs a lot off carbohydrates, so you need carbs to run it efficiently. And Oisin was in a stage where he's lean, and we can also like we were pushing up food, so we are actually eating more carbs, and it's a nice kind of training style to kind of complement that, and especially leading into a photo shoot then. So that's kind of a rundown of that style of training and why we were using it now. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like and subscribe to the channel, and even pop a comment below. We would like to hear from you if you did enjoy it. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one.